Hello, my name is Michael Rice, aka The Connector, and I'd like to welcome you to another edition of The Connector Live. Today's topic is networking. We're going to talk about how networking works in your life and how you can utilize it as a tool for productive outcomes in terms of whatever you're involved with. You know, it doesn't matter whether or not you're an entrepreneur, a business leader, a plumber, doctor, salesperson, social worker, case manager, investment broker, whatever. Networking, or the ability to build relationships, is vitally important to your success. In fact, in terms of business, it's one of the fundamentals that you must have, because your ability to build relationships with people means returning customers, returning clients, returning patients, and that's important for the survival of a business. So you want to think about that in terms of that. But before I go into the networking, let me just say this. If you are educated through the public educational system, and we're talking about like from kindergarten to 12th grade, right? Typical system K through 12. There are no courses on networking. There are no courses. Matter of fact, there are no courses on resume writing. There are no courses on business, on professional presence, right? There's no courses on interviewing. I mean, unless you were in some kind of technical vocational school, and normally that's secondary education. That's not the primary education in the K through 12. You're not going to learn the fundamental things that you need to do to get a job, and the goal of the educational system is to prepare you to go out there into the job world. I mean, let's look at it. Most of our youth, they come up and they graduate from school, they're going to look for a job, and they go for a job, but they don't know the behinds from a hole in the ground, to be for real with you. And I've seen where individuals came. I've interviewed individuals, and I was just amazed at the lack of understanding of basic human social interaction, how unprepared they were. So what I encourage you to do, and encourage you to encourage other people to seek other means of education and training to get those knowledge and skills. Watch these videos, but go out. I mean, it's about connecting with people. Go out. Career Link offers a lot of trainings. Check them out. Go out to these workshops and learn this. It's a skill that keeps paying over and over again, not only in your business life, in your career life, but in your social life as well. So, and in fact, you know what? There's a guy, his name is Peter Drucker. He wrote this book called The Organized Executive. And what Peter said was, more decisions occur over lunch and dinner than anywhere else, yet there are no MBA courses given on networking. Think about that. Your friends, your colleagues, co-workers can bring you more wealth, more success, more money, more contracts, more clients, just for the mere fact that they're part of your network and they can be referring people to you. So it's important that you build these relationships. In fact, John D. Rockefeller, everybody knows him, very rich person. He said that a friendship founded on business is better than a business founded on friendship. A friendship founded on business is better than a business. Wait a minute, let me get this right. A friendship founded on business is better than a business founded on friendship. And that's important when you think about it. You know, and I could kind of testify that, because I've done business with friends, and then I've made friends in business. And the business worked out better than the people who I went into business with that became friends, because we were able to build a relationship based upon the key ingredient is that we were doing business. So we had common interests, common likes, common goals. And some of those goals was to having doing a quality event or developing a quality initiative. When it came to the table with that, it made it easier. Now, it's also the case where you go with friends, because I like you, I'm going to try to do business with you, but a lot of friends don't have those skills. And just because you like somebody doesn't make them a good business partner. That's basically what that's saying. Okay. So when we talk about networking, though, we're talking about these three key factors: who you know, what you know, and who knows you. So let's talk about that. Who you know. You know, when you look in your database, or when you look at your list of people who are in your network, are they really productive people that are in your network, or are they just placeholders? Everybody carries around today. Everybody carries around their own little database. Yeah, that little cell phone that you have that has all the list of all those numbers. That's your network right there. You know, I mean, of course, your network extends beyond that, because everybody in your phone has their own phone with their own set of contacts that you can utilize, because you can call somebody up and say, do you know a plumber? They may not be a plumber. They can look at their phone and say, no, I don't know a plumber, but I know somebody who knows a plumber. And so you can extend your network through the people who are in your network. And your network is bigger than you think it is once you think about it, and once you start working and operating on this networking principle. So, but who you know is important only in the fact that they are somebody who's going to be an advocate or ally within your life. Somebody's going to be looking out for you and connecting with you. But a lot of us have a lot of people within our networks that either we're not utilizing them, or they're not productive in terms of our goals. They don't have our back. Right? What you know. Now, certainly, you can get a job. You can get through influence, through having an uncle or a friend or somebody in the right place can definitely get you a job. But if you're incompetent, you're going to be found out. You're going to be found out, and you may be fired. You may be stuck in a in a position where you can't move forward or advance. Or you can also destroy the credibility of the person that recommended you. Because if you think about it, if you're a business owner, or you're running some kind of initiative, and somebody recommends somebody to you, and then they came in and they're incompetent, then you're going to say, well, I won't listen to that person anymore. So you destroyed your credibility. So it's important that you be competent. That's the first thing that you can do. Try to be the best that you can be. Try to excel in your field. This is what your life is all about. The quality of the products that you do. So you want to be the best that you can be. And finally, who knows you? I believe this is of the three. I think this is one of the most important. That who knows you? Who knows you is vitally important as you move forward. And these are people that consider themselves part of your network. They're advocating for you as you're advocating for them. Right? Now, a lot of times, I will tell you, most of the decisions on people who gets a job, who gets a promotion, who gets the funding, who gets a contract, they're not made in open. They're usually made in the back room or the boardroom. Right? Your key is, the key to you that you want to have is, in that room, in that meeting, in that organization, that you have somebody that's part of your network, that you have an ally who's in there, who's speaking for you when you're not around. Because that's what advocates and allies do. They look out for people when they're not around. They call your name out. They say, Johnny George is the person that you want for this position because they are qualified and they're not due. And you know what? When somebody makes a recommendation for you, that's more powerful than you saying, I'm the best person for the job. Right? Right? I mean, a lot of us have that personal power, but really it's impressive when other people think highly of your skills and they recommend you. So, who knows you? Who can say your name when you're not around? Is vastly important. Those people represent your allies and your advocates in life, and those are people that you want as part of your network. I once said I can't count the number of times that individuals come up to me and they do, what you call it, name dropping, and they'll drop this name and they say, well, I know this person. It could be a council person or a state rep or a business leader or even the mayor. And a lot of times I respond to them and say, but does he know you, or does she know you? If I say your name in a meeting, when they acknowledge that person and say, oh yeah, I know them. Or will they be indifferent and act like they wouldn't know you from a can of paint? So it's important to make impact on people, positive impact on people, so they remember who you are, and to cultivate those relationships so that so you give them the ability to help you at some other time. The important thing is as an urban network, you want to be assured that you are surrounded by individuals who are looking out for your best interests. Make sense? The depth of the relationship, that's key. We're not talking about on the superficial level. We're not talking about on the acquaintance level. We're not talking about associate. We're talking about on the level of advocacy, and a level of alliance. Advocates and allies is what you want. In fact, now there's a book called The Networking Survival Guide. It's written by a lady by the name of Diane Darlings. Network Survival Guide. And in it, she talks about, she describes networking as, let me get it right, the art of building and sustaining mutually beneficial relationships. Notice she doesn't say networking is the art of getting stuff from other people. She emphasizes that the goal is mutually beneficial relationships. In fact, there's another guy, he wrote this book, excellent book, I suggest you get, called Never Eat Alone. It's about being socially successful in building your business, by a guy named the name of Keith Ferrari. Ferrari is his name. Ferrazzi. Never Eat Alone. And what he says is the currency of networking is not greed, but generosity. In other words, it's what you bring to the table, not what you can snatch off the table. As you plan your networking, think about what you bring to the table. What skills or assets do you possess that's attractive to other people? Do you have resources that other people desire? The key to building relationship is convincing the other person that you have something that they need. Right? That's the key to marketing and the convincing. If you have a business, convincing people that the product is something that they need, that they can't live without, so they must have that product. So when you're in terms of your networking, you are the product. So you want to convince people that being in a relationship with you is going to be beneficial to them. And if you're able to do that, you'll have people chasing you down to be a part of your network. Building a network is like building a bank account. You got to make deposits. You got to make deposits. Right? If you're always withdrawing from your social account, pretty soon, number one, you're going to be overdrawn if you're not making deposits, just like a bank account. And number two, people are going to view you as a burden, and they're going to avoid you. And in some cases, they'll warn other people about being in a relationship with you, because you become known as like a vampire, just sucking blood from people. And you don't want that. You want people to think of you that when you come around, it's going to be something positive is going to happen, and that you are, in fact, building a network by adding to the social capital. Now, one of the strategies that I suggest, and I've kind of developed it, and we talk about this a lot of times in my workshops and a lot of the writings and the e-blasts that you get through the connector e-blast, is something called urban networking. Urban networking is the aggressive establishment of mutually beneficial relationships, focusing on the exchange of ideas, products, services, and resources, both physical and fiscal. Right? I call it urban networking because it's not suburban networking, it's not rural networking, it's networking in the city. Right now we're in Philadelphia, 5th largest city in the country, in the most powerful country in the world. So you're 5th, right? The business environment here is competitive, it's intense, right? So urban networking is necessary to you to aggressively go out there and seek to build relationships. Now, just because I'm saying aggressive doesn't mean I'm saying you learn urban networking is about doing it with finesse, using what we call the art of savoir-faire, and that's the ability to know what you need to do, when you need to do it, and how you need to do it. But you want to use finesse. You want to be suave or smooth in your approach, but you want to be aggressive. You want to be unrelenting in your pursuit of building relationships. And that does not mean being a stalker, calling somebody constantly and all like that, but setting your goals and being consistent. That's what that's about. So urban networking is more strategic, it's more focused, it's more action orientated. Urban networking is an action word. Action equals outcome. It's about setting a goal to connect with specific individuals, industry leaders, business leaders, people within your field who, when they become an ally or advocate, further your goals. So what I like to do here is just give you some key. I'm gonna give you some key actions that you can take that will help you build your networking resource pool. So let's go one step. Step one, or not step one. Just first factor is this: dedicate yourself to the time it takes to networking and be excellent at it. In other words, do your research, learn about networking. Look, there's going to be a series of video blasts here. Read the connector. But I gave you some resources already. You can just Google networking, find out how to do it and how to do it appropriately. Right? Go to workshops, interact with people. Don't just sit behind a computer. Right? Because networking is all about making connections with people. You can utilize the computer, utilize this video stuff as tools to refine you for the actual. You know what it's like? It's like rehearsal. It's like practice. When successful sports figures practice, and they become refined. The people that go to the Olympics don't get up one day, go to the Olympics and get the gold. They practice, and they end up at the Olympics. They end up with the gold because they practice behind and they utilize all kind of methods, mentally and physically, and even spiritually, prepared themselves for the go out. And I suggest that that's what you do. Number two, plan where and when you're going to network. Now, most of us have phones with those schedules on them. You can schedule that. If you don't have a day timer or schedule, go get one. Right? This is vitally important in your own success. And we'll deal with some time management. You know, I'll do a time management techniques at some point. But what you want to do is you want to have a schedule, and then you want to look at your schedule for on a weekly basis. You should have at least one or two, if not more than that, networking encounters where you're meeting with Tom regarding the community initiative. You're meeting with Susan regarding this business proposition. You're meeting with Fred in terms of an event or something that you're planning. You want to have all these on your calendar and and you should be thinking, if Sunday is a day, like Sunday is a day that I like to just plan out my week, right? So you want to use that day to look at your schedule and say, man, I'm gonna meet with Tom on this day, Susan on this day, Fred on this day, and put that in there. Plan your networking. Number three, write and memorize a 1-minute commercial. Vastly important. Vastly important. The commercial, this 1-minute thing, is what you'll utilize in order to sell yourself or sell your product. Right? It's something that gives you it's a commercial that gives a positive impression on who you are, and something that when you do it for the 1 minute, it impresses people and it engages people. So you want to have a 1-minute commercial. It always amazes me that I go to, like I said, I go to a ton of meetings, is that there are individuals who come into meetings and people ask them, could you just introduce yourself and tell me a little bit about your business? And they go, they start stuttering and all like that. Like, this is the first time somebody ever asked them that question. Like, I've been in meetings with people who I know I could describe what they do better than they can. But they should have prepared. They should have this as a default. Oh, this is who I am. My name is so-and-so, and this is what I do. My organization is good for this and it's good for that. Simple as that. You know, in some cases, you might be say, you can go to my website or email me, or here's my phone number. Include that in it too. If you're in one of those meetings where you know that you want to connect with people and you won't have the ability to connect with them individually, hand that out. If you are in a workshop and you get a chance to stand up and there's a board, write your phone number on the board. But be prepared for your 1 minute introduction. You know, there are people that actually go to interviews, and at some point in most interviews, all the interviews I've ever been in, somebody says, well, tell me a little bit about yourself. That is not the time. That is not the time. That is not the time for you to figure out, what are my good qualities? What actually do I do? What I'm all about? That's not the time to do that. You should have did that at home. That was your homework. What you need to do is you need to be prepared and know how to describe yourself before you go to interview, and then you can do it in a powerful fashion. Number 4, I always say utilize the power of Q. The power of Q is the power of questions. Ask relevant questions. Ask questions that further your goals. Ask questions that further the relationship. Ask questions that create excitement. And now what I mean by using the power of Q is that ask those questions about the individuals. I mean, there's two things about questions that can be done. One is that they're going to get you more information, and two, that they qualify the individual. So ask the individual about who they are. Get information about them that you can utilize in the next time that you're with them. You know, and very important that you get information about the person. And the person, if I was talking to a person, they wanted to go in business with me, and they didn't know. They were asking to go in business with me, and they didn't know me, and they didn't ask me any questions. I'd be kind of leery of them. You know, because they don't seem thorough. They haven't done their research, and they're not asking the important questions. They might not know what they're doing. So by asking questions, those counterintuitive, it actually displays that you have intelligence. Inquiring minds want to know. Inquiring minds are intelligent minds. Remember that. Remember I said that. Inquiring minds are intelligent minds. Okay, number 5. Always have a business card. Fundamentals of networking is having a business card. Business card is that other commercial. The commercial that keeps giving. Give you out your business card. You don't have a fancy business card. Matter of fact, I suggest in terms of your business card to get a standard one. Get one, a white card with black lettering is fine. The important part of it is it has your name and your contact information. If you got a website, put that on there also. Right? Now you can add a logo, you can add a slogan. That's fine. You want to enhance that, but keep it basic. Keep it basic. The important thing is to have one that you can give to people so that when you're not around, they can pull it out. Now, I also suggest you do this. When you give somebody a call, right on the back, call me. Yes, call me. Call me by Tuesday. Call me about the initiative. Call me about the business deal. Okay? You want to put that in their mind. Always leave people with a call to action on what they should do next. The last thing that you want to leave with anybody that you're with is that you call. We need to get together. Plant that seed in their mind. People think about it. People might not remember the whole conversation. All they remember at the end, like he told me to call them, and they'll remember the gist of the conversation because you are forceful and powerful when you engage them. Okay, so that's business cards. Now, you know, there's a guy named Robert Kiyosaki. I believe that I'm probably destroying his name, but he wrote a book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And in that book, what he says is, let me get this right, the richest people in the world look and build networks. Everybody else looks for work. Think about that. The richest people in the world look for networks and build networks. Everybody else looks for work. See, because you have a network, it's almost like that. It's almost like that saying about the fisherman. You know, I can give you a fish and you'll eat for one day, but if I teach you how to fish, you'll always be able to get your own fish, and you become self-sufficient. And self-sufficient is success. Self-sufficiency is success. So by creating networks where there's always some kind of return on your investment, because I'm talking about a network, I'm talking about an urban networking experience here, and that is that the people in your network are looking out for you, like you're looking out for them. Like you may spend your time in your networking is reading stuff and getting stuff that's beneficial to other people, and then sharing those resources with other people. And if you're doing that, they start sharing. I have relationships with people. Actually, I have relationships on the internet with people I have never met. They send me important information, vital information all the time. Why? Why? Because I send them resource information all the time. I send them, and I send them, not only send them resource information, I send them motivational tips. I send them encouragement. You know, if they send me some information about something that they're doing, I'll send them saying, keep going, keep doing it. We need you to keep doing that. Encouragement, and they appreciate that. Just like when they send that to me, I appreciate it. So that's another thing. You can just send a word of encouragement. If you see that one person that's in your network is in the newspaper and has accomplished something, send them matter of fact, send them an email, give them a phone call. You know what? Even more effective, most effective thing you can do is write a personal note and mail it to them, and they'll you don't know the influence that you'll have with that person, because they'll really appreciate that, because how many other people would do that? They say, wow, that person is really looking out for me. And that's not, you know, that's not a ploy. That just makes sense. It makes good business sense that somebody who is in your network, that you're looking out for them, and you're showing, I'm your ally, I got your back, and I'm going to advocate for you and look out for you. So the key to success is strategic relationship building. Once you prioritize your goals and actions, you're going to look at the specific individuals that you need to have in order to help you. I do this workshop called Who's on Your Team? And the amazing thing, I do this workshop with elementary school kids, talking about what they want to be when they grow up, right? And but who can help them? And the key here is, once we build this network, we're saying, and what they'll do is this: they'll have this I give them this chart, and they'll have themselves, and they start looking at the people they need: teachers, parents, counselors, tutors, mentors. They'll all be listed on here, and they'll put names to them. But then I ask them, after they built this whole network, I ask them, it says, so if somebody's bullying you, who would you go to? And they look to the chart. It's the same network. It's the same individuals. Those individuals there. Once you map out your network, you know what? And you can map them out by skills, you know, by industries, by, you know, your network might have a plumber, and you might have a plumber, contractor, electrician, all those people as just a category of people within your network. You know, then you have doctors according to what your medical needs are. You might have specialists and have all them listed in terms of that. Do you send notes to you? Look out for stuff for your doctor and recommend stuff for your doctor? Because you know doctors always get new information that they can share with everybody. Everybody has something that comes to them that they can share with other people. They only share them with certain people. They share with the people who are important to them. They share with the people who are the allies. They share stuff with people who share stuff with them. So those are kind of the fundamentals of networking. I hope that you got something from this that you can utilize today, tomorrow, the next day in your goals and everything. But the main thing about it is, take one of these practices. If you just took one, just one a day, so added it to what you do, you're going to get better in the long run. But the main thing is take action. I always say, action equals outcome. And that brings me to something that one of my mentors, his name was J. Morris Anderson. This guy, he founded the Miss Black America pageant. He found a niche. He was very successful in doing it. He had a number of other businesses, but he's a very motivating person. And one of the things that he used to say all the time was, sow the seeds of positivity, reap the flowers of success. You got to sow in order to reap. So this is Michael Rice, aka The Connector, saying to you, keep connecting, because we're building a network, one relationship at a time. Join us.